Welcome to Little Literati. I'm Jess, and this is my wrap-up video for the month of September. I know that I had mentioned at the beginning of the month that I was planning on squeezing in around 4 books. I really only got around to 2 of them. This was kind of one of my more measly months this summer. Not as bad as July, I will grant you, but still on the puny side. But I did get around to finishing 2 books. In my defense, we did do a lot of traveling in September. I know that I mentioned at the beginning of the month my sister came to visit us for a few days, and so I was spending a lot of time with her. And then the day that she left, we left for like a week to go to my niece's wedding. And then at the end of the month, my grandmother died unexpectedly, and so we had to travel again out of state to go to the funeral and spend time with family then as well. So there was a lot of travel time in September that ate up my reading time. So I'm sorry about only the 2 books, but I did get to finish 2 pretty decently hefty books, so yay me. The first one is Mistborn, which is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I have actually already read this trilogy, so this was a reread for me. I read it the first time around when my middle daughter Elizabeth was a baby, and I had to wake up in the middle of the night several times for feedings. And so I was reading it on my Kindle because it's easier to read on a Kindle, so you only have to move your thumb instead of turning whole pages when you have a nursing baby trying to fall asleep on you. So I've already read Mistborn. I really, really enjoyed it. And so we were in the car for a long time. And so I turned it on because I also have this on Audible. And so my husband was listening to it with me as well, and he really enjoyed it as well. So Mistborn, definitely a fun reread. And I'll probably sometime in the next couple of months get around to reading the next 2 books in the series as well, and I'll probably just let him listen to my audio books on the way to and from work so that maybe he can read along with me. But anyway, so Mistborn, definitely an awesome reread about kind of what would happen if someone had been sent to save the world and had failed, and so what are the repercussions and the consequences of that, and what would the world look like if that were to happen. So that is the first one that we read. And then also on Audible, I was listening to Tower of Dawn. I actually downloaded it the day it came out as we were traveling out of town the first time around. And so I was listening to it, and it finally arrived so that I have something tangible to talk about during the video. And I finished it a few days before the end of the month. And so when I got the book, I had to flip through and see all of the names that I'd been hearing, because I have to see things for it to really sink in. And let me tell you, some of the names were nothing like I was expecting, and the Karen Kui was not at all what I was imagining and spelling in my head. I wasn't expecting any K's to be in there at all, and that's all that it's pretty much made out of was K's. I was expecting C's and Q's, and no, it's K's. But I really I don't know, I have mixed feelings about Tower of Dawn. It felt like the first 2/3, 3/4 are kind of slow. Not a lot of stuff happens in them. I mean, things do happen, but they don't seem to be very action-packed. There's a lot of griping and bickering between various parties, and just kind of sitting around waiting for things to happen. And then towards the end, things happen finally that we've been waiting for, but they all kind of happen on top of each other. So we have multiple points of view, and things are happening to everybody all at the same time, and people are only just barely arriving to save other people in the nick of time, and it gets very, very convoluted. And what is it with epic fantasy and having ginormous spiders be the bad guys? I'm arachnophobic. I don't like spiders anyway, and so the idea of giant spiders coming and killing everybody, it's very appropriate, I suppose, because I think they're evil, but it just seems kind of, it feels like it's kind of been done, because, Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, we've got Shelob, and we've got Aragog, and now we've got all of the Karen Kui that are a big deal in this book. So anyway, if you're not into giant spiders, this might not be the book for you. And, of course, now all we have to do is wait apparently another year for the last book in the series to arrive, so that we can find out what the heck happens with Aelin and what happens with the characters that we've met in this book, and they all hopefully can all come together and save the world. and hopefully not fail like what happened in the background of this book. So anyway, those were the 2 books that I got around to reading in September. I'm optimistic that October will be better, and so stay tuned for that video. But in the meantime, thank you for your patience with me. I'm really sorry about the craziness of the summer and the posting schedule, but hopefully now that school has started and we're not traveling anymore, I can get things back on track and be ready to move forward. So thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video.